This Sunday night marks the biggest sporting event of the calendar year. This Sunday night will mark the 53rd installment of the most prestigious sporting event in history. Super Bowl 53. The American Football Conference champion New England Patriots squaring off against the National Football Conference champion Los Angeles Rams. The New England Patriots seeking their 6th Super Bowl championship, tied with the Pittsburgh Steelers for the most all time. A Rams win would give them their 2nd. Both teams needed overtime to get there. But tonight, we will look at this matchup complete with team breakdowns, X factors, and big questions for the final game of the season. Welcome to Super Bowl 53. Hello, friends, and welcome to this very special edition of Strictly Sports. I am your host, as always, Anthony Florio, joined by Michael Bullock. Unfortunately, good old MF Michael Fletcher will not be joining us this evening due to a special commitment beyond his control. He will have his own preview video up sometime tomorrow on his channel, Braves Fan 95, so be on the lookout for that. So for tonight, Michael Bullock and I, we are going to break this down as best as we can, give you nothing but the absolute best coverage that you can possibly ask for. So with all that, what we're going to do, we're going to break it all down. Break down the offense, defense, special teams, the coaches, and we will close it with who we ultimately think will leave Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia this Sunday night with the Vince Lombardi Trophy. One of our favorite shows of the year. This is a show we look forward to every single year. This year, no exception. I mean, without any further ado, let's dive on in to what we know has the potential to be one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time. And to get you ready, it's only fitting. There you go, my friends. That's what it's going to look like come Sunday. Courtesy of CBS Sports' official Instagram page. The field inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium with the New England Patriots and the Los Angeles Rams. CBS, 6:30, the kickoff. Hello, friends. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson, Evan Washburn, probably Jay Feely as well. And that's what they're going to be reporting on come Sunday, come game time. You see that? I mean, whenever you see that shot, you can't help but get goosebumps. That's all I know. We'll definitely put that back up at the end of the show. So a lot to get into here tonight. The New England Patriots are opening up as 2.5 to 3-point favorites. That's really not a big surprise there. I mean, it's obviously based on their experience. These two teams, we all know they've met in a Super Bowl before, and we'll never forget it. One of the greatest Super Bowls of all time, Super Bowl 36. The then Louisiana Superdome in New Orleans. It was on Fox. The Rams, the then St. Louis Rams, were 14-point favorites against the Patriots. But somehow, some way, the New England Patriots found a way to get it done, and they pulled off one of the greatest upsets in Super Bowl history, winning it 20-17. That's the only other time they've met in the Super Bowl, of course. And looking back all time with these two, the all-time history between the Rams and the Patriots, New England leads the all-time series 7-5. And here's some good news for you Patriot fans. Including that Super Bowl, the Patriots have won 5 consecutive meetings against the Rams. But that was all when they were in St. Louis. So it's a 7-5 all-time advantage for the Pats, including the 5 in a row, which includes that epic Super Bowl 36.
And don't forget one time as the LA Rams.
Yes.
In 2016.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 2016, they were in Los Angeles. That's right. That's the last time they met overall. That was in Foxborough, and New England won that 26-10. So, yeah, a lot of history here without question. And, a lot to get into, like I said. So, let's talk about two things. The two things that the two matchups when it comes to offense and defense and all that. I mean, Belichick and McVay. I mean, that's the matchup we're all going to be talking about without a doubt. I mean, and we'll get more into that when we talk about the coaching matchup. But it was 17 years ago when the Super Bowl pitted a young quarterback and a unique coach against recent champions who most thought were unstoppable. In Super Bowl 36, it was Tom Brady in his second year and Bill Belichick, at the time a journeyman coach in his second stint following a failed run with the Cleveland Browns, their New England Patriots up against the St. Louis Rams and their greatest show on turf. This time, it's the Rams playing the role of underdogs against the dominant Patriots. Over the past 17 years, they have moved from St. Louis to Los Angeles, lost an enormous number of games, and now finally found the right quarterback and head coach. We can't say third-year passer Jared Goff and 33-year-old Sean McVay are the next Brady and Belichick quite yet. Let's see them win one championship to move 4 behind the Pats pair first. But the similarities are evident. Super Bowl 36 was the beginning of the Patriots dynasty. Will Super Bowl 53 against the same side mark the end of it? Only time will tell. So, what is the key to Super Bowl 53? For the 4th time in 5 years, the question is how an NFC team making a rare Super Bowl appearance can stop the Patriots. The Seattle Seahawks almost did it, but were the victim of one of the most famous interceptions in NFL history. The Atlanta Falcons led 28-3, but lost in overtime. The last decade suggests there are 2 ways to stop New England in the last game of the season: outgun them or get to Tom Brady. Last year, the Philadelphia Eagles did the former, with a late contribution from the latter. Philadelphia allowed the Patriots to score 33 points, the most ever for a Super Bowl loser. Nick Foles and company scored 41. Just the 3rd time in 22 Super Bowls a team reached the 40s. But the crucial moment came with Brady driving down the field down 5 with just over 2 minutes left. That was when Brandon Graham recorded the Eagles' first sack of the game, also causing Brady to fumble. If you want to stop Brady, you have to get a hand on him. It's the formula made famous by the New York Giants, who stunned the Patriots in 2 separate Super Bowls, including Super Bowl 42, ending their 18-0 run. Both times, the Giants' defensive linemen got major pressure on Brady all game. In Super Bowl 42, they recorded 5 sacks. In Super Bowl 46, they knocked Brady down on 6 occasions. So far this postseason, New England is averaging 39 points a game, and Brady has not been sacked once. That's why Rams defensive lineman Aaron Donald might be the most important man on the field. He recorded 20.5 sacks and 41 knockdowns this year, arguably the most dominant season by an interior lineman ever. When Donald records 2 or more sacks in a game under Sean McVay, the Rams are 9-0. For the Rams offense, it's a question of balance, both between the pass and the rush, and between who Jared Goff hands off to most. Los Angeles loves to run an offense with 3 receivers, 1 running back, and 1 tight end. In the playoffs, though, McVay has found major success with 2 receivers, 1 running back, and 2 tight ends on the field. It's a different look and will leave Bill Belichick wondering whether to focus on the personnel McVay focused on using all season or the group that has brought the Rams to the Super Bowl. Another factor is the massive success C.J. Anderson has had since being signed, stepping in for Todd Gurley, who clearly hasn't been 100% healthy this playoff run. Anderson has had 39 carries for 167 yards and 2 touchdowns. It remains to be seen which running back will be the most heavily featured against the Patriots. There's every chance, though, the Rams won't be able to run too much. If they get behind early in the game, that's what happened in the NFC Championship game against the New Orleans Saints. Which records can be set during Super Bowl 53? A Patriot win will tie them with the Pittsburgh Steelers as the most successful team in NFL history with a 6th Super Bowl win. A win would also be New England's 37th victory in a postseason game, overtaking Pittsburgh's total of 36. Patriots head coach Bill Belichick will equal the record for Super Bowl wins, joining George Halas and Curly Lambeau with 6 NFL championships. Tom Brady will become the only player to win 6 Super Bowls, moving 1 clear of Hall of Famer Charles Haley, who won 5 titles. Brady will also be the oldest quarterback to win a Super Bowl, beating Peyton Manning's mark. Manning was 39 when he led the Denver Broncos to victory over the Carolina Panthers in Super Bowl 50. A Ram win, Sean McVay, at age 33, will become the youngest head coach in history to win the Super Bowl if the Rams upset the Patriots. The current mark is held by Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin, who was at the age of 36 when he won that first Super Bowl. Quarterback Jared Goff, at age 24, will supplant Tom Brady as the second youngest quarterback to win a Super Bowl with a victory. The youngest remains Pittsburgh's Ben Roethlisberger, who was 23 years of age when they won Super Bowl 40. Goff will also become the first quarterback picked at number 1 in the draft to win a Super Bowl in 3 seasons. No top draft pick will have won the Super Bowl quicker. So that's all you need to know right there. So yes, indeed. So that's all that's on the line here in Super Bowl 53. So while I have a moment, while I get my next set, I got a lot of set of notes here. I got plenty of notes that we're going to get through here tonight. While I get my next set of notes ready, Michael Bullock, come on in. Let's get your early thoughts on our show tonight.
Boy, all I can say is, we've been hyping this for 2 weeks ever since, of course, since Conference Championship Sunday when both teams won their respective conference championship games in overtime, and yeah, a lot at stake when it comes to this. And when you think Patriots Rams, like you said, you have to think back to Super Bowl 36 when these two teams met. Of course, that was when the Rams were then known as the St. Louis Rams, and in an epic game that none of us will ever forget between these two, and this matchup is simply a battle of the young lion and the old lion. The young lion being 32-year-old head coach of the Rams, Sean McVay, against the 66-year-old coach of the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick. And then, of course, you got the 41-year-old quarterback, Tom Brady, going up against the 24-year-old quarterback of the Rams, Jared Goff. And when it comes to coaches, if the Patriots win, Bill Belichick will be the oldest coach ever to win a Super Bowl. And if the Rams win, Sean McVay will be the youngest coach to win a Super Bowl. And And the one matchup I'm definitely looking forward to seeing, in my mind, that offensive line of the New England Patriots. How are they going to handle that defensive front of the Rams, led, of course, by a man who of course, leads the league in sacks with 20 and a half, Aaron Donald, and let's not forget Ndamukong Suh. So it's going to be interesting to see how this offensive line of the Patriots is really going to be tested. I mean, they faced some good defensive players in the playoffs so far. I mean, take it with the Chargers when they had to deal with Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa, and then of course in the AFC Championship game when they had to deal with Justin Houston and Chris Jones. So this is going to be a real big test for them, and how are their corners going to be able to handle guys like Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods? So, and will they be able to contain Todd Gurley and C.J. Anderson? And can Sony Michel keep up his brilliant postseason up to this point? So definitely a lot at stake here. I mean, like you said, the Patriots going for their record-tying 6th Super Bowl championship, while the Rams are only looking for their 2nd. Of course, their first, ironically, was in Super Bowl 34. And where was that Super Bowl, Florio?
New Orleans.
No, for the Rams, I mean.
Oh, Atlanta.
Yep, and of course they returned to the place where they won their first Super Bowl. So can they make it 2 Super Bowl titles in the city of Atlanta? Only time will tell. But either way, I'm definitely looking forward to this. I'm very excited about it. Can it top the previous 2 Super Bowls we've seen? Who knows? Maybe. But
we'll see.
This is why it's going to be intriguing. So
yep.
Florio, if you're all set, let's. I think we're going to start off with the offense.
And I'm gonna get you there in a much different path that we usually do. So there are 2. It's very simple. 2 intriguing matchups, and they both involve the top 2 coaches on each side. Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels on the New England side, and on LA, Sean McVay and Wade Phillips. The first matchup that I want to address: Sean McVay's offense versus Bill Belichick's defense. Where to even begin? McVay's offense is unlike any other in football. The Rams take concepts that nearly every team in the league uses and push them to the extreme. No other NFL team ran jet motion more often this season. No other team used 11 personnel on a higher percentage of its snaps. No other team deployed play action on a higher percentage of its dropbacks. And no other team uses more tight receiver splits and stacked receiver sets. Patriot cornerback Josh Boyer earlier in the week said that he has seen examples of every aspect of the Rams offense this season. The difference is that with McVay, those quirks aren't scattered throughout a game plan. They are the game plan. And considering many of his tactics are specifically designed to take advantage of a single lazy moment from an unwitting defender, vigilance is paramount for a defense playing with the Rams. Let's start with the motion. The Rams use this to continually confuse the defense and in turn generate big gains. On one play against the Saints in the NFC Championship, Los Angeles managed to turn a trips alignment on the right side of the formation into a trips alignment on the left before the ball was snapped. During the play, linebacker Demario Davis wound up covering wide receiver Josh Reynolds, and the result was a 33-yard gain that set up a game-tying field goal midway through the 4th quarter. The Rams will occasionally use their jet motion concepts to hand the ball off to a receiver streaking across the formation. But for the most part, those movements are designed to toy with the defender's eyes and to recalibrate defensive assignments. McVay's success is predicated on disrupting the defense's rules. Belichick's job will be making sure that his defenders don't let the balls I mean, the bells and whistles of LA's system distract them from focusing on what McVay actually wants to accomplish. That boils down to gashing teams in the run game and parlaying that success into quarterback Jared Goff, taking play-action shots downfield. More often than not, defenses respond to the Rams' offense with nickel personnel packages, with the goal of slowing the three wide receivers, Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, and Josh Reynolds, that LA uses on the vast majority of its plays. With smaller defenders on the field and fewer players crowding the box, the Rams are able to lean on backs Todd Gurley, C.J. Anderson in their running game for efficient gains. Look no further than the Rams' divisional round victory over the Cowboys, in which they rushed for a staggering 273 yards with 3 touchdowns. New England's greatest strength on the back end of its defense is flexibility. With Devin McCourty, Patrick Chung, and Daron Harmon, the Pats have 3 capable safeties who can be used in any situation. They also have a solid trio of cover men at cornerback: Jason McCourty, Stephon Gilmore, and rookie J.C. Jackson. The problem for the Patriots is that if they put all of those defensive backs on the field at once, with Chung acting as a de facto linebacker, then New England could be susceptible to the Rams' excellent ground game. In the regular season, Gurley faced boxes of 8 or more defenders on just 8.2% of his carries, the 3rd lowest rate in the league. I wouldn't be surprised if Belichick was content to allow the Rams to have some success on the ground to limit the effects of their devastating play-action game. If the Rams start to move the ball efficiently when they run, it will be up to McVay to stick with that approach and not chase chunk plays through the air. Saying that Gurley will be one of the Rams' key components in this game may not sound revelatory, but we're only 2 weeks removed from him being a non-factor in the NFC Championship. And the Pats are significantly better at stopping interior runs than they are at slowing down backs on the perimeter. How Gurley fares against the Pats' lighter outside packages will have a massive impact on the Rams' offense. His involvement in the passing game may also be more crucial than at any previous point this season. New England employs press man coverage more than any team in football. The Patriots' corners will almost certainly spend Sunday night manhandling the Rams' receivers and staying glued to their hips. The best way for McVay to make them pay is by using Gurley in the slot and forcing bigger linebackers like Kyle Van Noy and Dante Hightower to stick with him in space. These are the sort of cat and mouse tactics that could swing the matchup. The other matchup, Josh McDaniels' offense versus Wade Phillips' defense. Unlike the clash between Belichick and McVay, we've seen these two score off before. Phillips came away with the win. The legendary coordinator led the Broncos defense when Denver knocked off New England 20-18 in the AFC Championship game following the 2015 season. And I fully expect the Rams to implement an approach similar to the one that Phillips used with Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, and his former no-fly zone secondary. That may sound simple, but in many ways, Phillips' defense is simple. For the most part, he runs the same system that he's used since entering the league more than 40 years ago. In the modern NFL, that means more 4-man fronts in what's technically a 3-4 base defense. Yet the basis of his approach has remained consistent. The key has always been the subtle adjustments Phillips makes for his opponent and his personnel. Against the Patriots 3 seasons ago, Phillips was willing to call for much more zone coverage than he typically does. The goal was to provide Tom Brady with as little pre-snap information as possible by deploying a mix of coverage types throughout the game. Phillips combined those coverages with a variety of alignments up front. The Broncos almost never blitzed, and the Rams likely won't bring extra pressure Sunday. Instead, they'll probably put 5 or 6 defenders along the line of scrimmage and do all they can to make Brady second guess which 4 are coming. For defenses facing Brady, even the tiniest hesitations can mean everything. Over 2 playoff games this season, Brady has yet to be sacked. During the AFC Championship game in Kansas City, he was barely even touched. Brady's average time to throw during the postseason has been an absurd 2.18 seconds. He's gotten rid of the ball in less than 2 seconds on 67.8% of his dropbacks, according to Pro Football Focus, and has completed 77% of those throws. The less information Brady can discern before the snap, the more likely it is that he'll have to hang on to the ball just a bit longer. That's where Aaron Donald comes in. It's no secret that interior pressure always has been the most important ingredient to slowing down Brady. His passer rating when pressured up the middle this season was just 63.1. The Rams just so happen to have the best interior rusher and defensive player, period, in football. How the Pats plan to contain Donald and how the Rams react as a result might be the most important aspect of this game. New England will almost certainly slide its protection toward Donald as often as possible, which should leave one-on-one matchups across the rest of the defensive line. And Ndamukong Suh could be vital to the Rams' success. If he can take advantage of either New England guard Joe Thuney or Shaq Mason, it could spell a long evening for Brady. The Patriots' focus on Donald should do more than facilitate one-on-one matchups for the rest of the Rams' defensive front, though. It should also create space, with fewer blockers accounting for the non-Donald players. There should be more room for LA defenders to twist and stunt than there otherwise would be. Don't be surprised if the Rams try to get Dante Fowler Jr. and others free up the middle as a result. Interior pressure doesn't have to come from a team's defensive tackles. Rob Gronkowski hadn't found much success as a receiver this season before the AFC title game, but he's continued to be a dominant blocker. It might serve the Pats well to keep him in tight as an extra line of protection against the Rams' pass rush. To keep the Rams off balance, expect McDaniels to dial up a ton of motion, especially from New England's running backs. By moving someone like Rex Burkhead around before the snap, McDaniels can help Brady gather some of the information that Phillips is trying to take away by mixing man and zone coverage looks. The problem for the Rams, if the pass rush fails to generate consistent pressure, is that New England has answers for every coverage type. The Patriots torch the Chiefs' man-heavy looks with receiver stacks used to generate quick separation. And we'll see those again if the Rams choose to play a lot of man. If Phillips leans toward more zone, Julian Edelman and James White could feast over the middle as Brady marches from end zone to end zone. White should be a focal point of the Rams' game plan on Sunday. Saints running back Alvin Kamara was the only New Orleans pass catcher who got much done against the Rams in the NFC Championship game. And it seems like White could find similar success against the linebacking core that's regularly struggled in space. Sony Michel and the Patriots' ground game should also have a say before all is said and done. While the Rams were 28th in Football Outsiders rushing DVOA during the regular season, they've been excellent at stopping the run during these playoffs. Yet, if the Rams choose to bring extra defenders into the box to limit the Patriots' ground game out of heavy two back sets, that could afford Brady the chance to slice and dice them through the air. This may come as a surprise, but stopping the greatest quarterback in NFL history is rarely easy. So with all this being said, if we're going to talk about offense, break it down, the key positions on offense, starting with the quarterback. No disrespect to Jared Goff. He's got a bright future ahead of him. But you have to give the advantage to Tom Brady in New England in the quarterback spot. Running game, I got to give the edge to LA. I love that two-headed monster of Todd Gurley and CJ Anderson, especially what they did against Dallas in the divisional round. That opened my eyes quite a bit. Receiving core, both receiving cores are great, but I have to give the slight edge to New England because of not only Gronk, but also because of Julian Edelman. Edelman, the best slot receiver since Wes Welker. I see a second coming of Wes Welker and Julian Edelman. Great slot receiver. And, of course, we know what Gronk is capable of doing. Tight end, you got to give the edge to New England on that one with Gronk, without a doubt. And so it's pretty much a mixed bag. But if I had to pick which team had the advantage offensively, I would have to give the slight edge to New England for the experience. You got the greatest of all time, Tom Brady, and Gronk and Edelman. That puts it over the top for me. So, don't get me wrong. New England's running game is great too, with Sony Michel and James White. But I just think LA is just a smidgen better with Gurley and Anderson. So, slight edge to New England when it comes to the offense. So Michael Bullock, what do you say about the offense? I got to go with the Pats by a smidge here.
Oh yeah, I definitely gotta give the edge to the Patriots offensively because like you said, don't get me wrong. That Rams offense is really good, but it's just that experience. When you got guys on that offense for the Patriots that have been there, especially Tom Brady, Gronk and especially Julian Edelman, who's really stepped it up. And I mean, especially in third down situations, like we saw in that in the AFC Championship game against Kansas City. I mean, if they're able to convert third downs and go on nice long drives, they could definitely wear out this front line of the LA Rams. I mean, Jared Goff. I mean, what he's done the last 2 years has been remarkable. I mean, after a terrible rookie season, but let's be quite honest, Florio, that rookie season, I mean, he wasn't able to adjust when it came to Jeff Fisher when he was the coach at the time. But when they brought in Sean McVay, Jared Goff looks like a different guy. And yeah, I mean, and I think the defense of New England will be able to contain that offense of the Rams a little bit. I mean, they won't be able to completely stop them, but just enough where Tom Brady and that offense will be able to make a few more big plays. So yes, so and like we said, when it comes to each position, to the quarterbacks, it's definitely Tom Brady. I got to give the advantage to. In the running backs position, you know what, Florio? I mean, you may give the edge to the Rams, but the thing is, I'm gonna say it's even. I mean, it's tough to choose one over the other. I mean, you got Todd Gurley and C.J. Anderson who have been good, but don't sleep on the Patriots running backs. I mean, Sony Michel has been really good running the football the first 2 games in the playoffs, and then you got James White who can not only run, but he's also a threat catching balls out of the backfield, and let's not forget about Rex Burkhead as well. So I'm going to call it even when it comes to the running backs, and for the receivers, whew, I'm going to give a slight edge to New England on that one. So yeah, so that's pretty much all I got to say on that. So let's just move right along, Florio.
And Bullock, I'm going to have you lead off on our next topic, which is the defense. So who has the edge when it comes to defense?
Boy, I'll tell you what. I mean, this is a tough one. I mean, defensively, I mean, oh, I mean, I'm gonna have to give a slight edge to the LA Rams on this one. Because look, you got Aaron Donald with 20 and a half sacks. You got the Ndamukong Suh who's also a threat inside as well. And then of course you got Dante Fowler when it comes to the linebacking corps. And then of course in the secondary with Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters. So, but New England's been able to make some big plays too defensively. I mean, and one of the guys to keep an eye on defensively is Trey Flowers. I mean, he's really come on. I mean, we first heard of him, of course, in that Super Bowl 51 comeback where he made some big plays. So, and then of course you got that linebacking core with with Dante Hightower. It's good the Patriots have him back for this run to the Super Bowl. And then of course in the secondary with you got Stephon Gilmore, who was a Pro Bowler this season, and I mean last year was a little bit of a struggle at the beginning, but he's really adjusted since then. And yeah, so this is I mean, it's tough, but I mean, I could say it's even, but I'm going to give a slight edge to the LA Rams on this one. So, Florio, I give it to you.
Yeah, it is. It is LA. You're absolutely right. I mean, no disrespect to New England's defense, but you have to give it to LA. I mean, that defense is loaded. Marcus Peters, Aqib Talib, and Ndamukong Suh. And to me, your 2018 back-to-back NFL Defensive Player of the Year. I'm going on the record. Tomorrow night, he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year again this year. Aaron Donald, 20 and a half sacks, the 41 knockdowns. I mean, that alone is why you have to give the defensive edge to LA. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, there is absolutely no doubt about that. So so that edge definitely to LA. Absolutely. So so that's that. So so now we're going to get into the special teams aspect of this. And I mean, you know, the special teams on both sides, I mean, look solid. And let me just get my next set of notes on this. And yeah, without question. I mean, both kickers are incredible. I mean, they're both stud kickers. We all know that. Steven Gostkowski and Greg Zuerlein. I mean, Zuerlein with that 57-yard field goal that sent the Rams to the Super Bowl against New Orleans. And so here you go. Okay. Now, when it comes to this, despite the mystique of the Belichick name, it's the man with 50 years of coaching experience whose unit holds the advantage in Super Bowl 53. Offense may be a young man's game, but when it comes to defense, it's the crafty veteran defensive presence of Phillips and Belichick leading on center stage here. Despite all the defensive knowledge that will be on the sidelines for both teams, this still figures to be a high-scoring affair. Both defenses were bottom half in the NFL, and each unit had strong areas of weakness, facing two of the league's most brilliant offensive minds in McVay and McDaniels. However, Wade Phillips' collection of high-priced stars were assembled for such a time as this. On special teams, the Patriots can't match the Rams. The kicker-punter combo for Los Angeles is superior, and it must be comforting for the Rams to know that every Patriots Super Bowl under Brady comes down to a final drive. This positions the best defensive player in the game, Aaron Donald, to make a play to seal the deal, or for the kicker with the biggest leg, Greg Zuerlein, to send another long one through the uprights to taste Super Bowl bliss. So I would have, if I was going to break down the the special teams, you know, I would have to go with Los Angeles on that. So so that's really all I can say on that. And a little more on the defenses. I do have a little more on the defenses for the Rams. You know, some franchises can go a decade and not be as active as the Rams were this offseason on the defensive side of the ball. The Rams' flurry of activity started in February when they traded for equal parts talent, equal parts trouble, and Chiefs defensive back Marcus Peters. February proved to be just an hors d'oeuvre as March brought a main course of major comings and goings for the defense. Former Rams first-round picks Robert Quinn and Alec Ogletree were traded away, and Aqib Talib was traded for. Free agency would bring former Packers star cornerback Sam Shields back to the league after a near 2-year absence, and the big bombshell Ndamukong Suh was added on a 1-year deal to a Ram defensive line that already featured Aaron Donald, who would get a $133 million extension the last day of August. Rams defensive coordinator Wade Phillips had to be salivating at the influx of talent, but the Ram defense on the whole was nothing short of a major disappointment in finishing 19th overall in total defense and dead last in yards a carry at 5.1. Aqib Talib would miss 8 games, and he and Peters would combine for just 4 interceptions. As little bang for the buck as the Rams got from Peters and Talib, Aaron Donald gave the Rams their money's worth with a dominant season that justified the $133 million the Rams gave him in the offseason. Donald led the NFL and set a record for defensive tackles with 20.5 sacks, falling just short of Michael Strahan's single-season sack record of 22.5. Los Angeles only dropped 3 games all season, but the offense was largely responsible for their 13 wins. When tasked with facing an offense the equal of their own, the defense gave up 45 at New Orleans and 51 to Kansas City. On special teams, the Rams featured the best punter in the league at pinning opponents inside the 10 in Johnny Hekker. Hekker also proved to be quite a weapon on the occasional fake punt, which special teams coach John Fossil likes to run. At kicker, perhaps nobody in the NFL has a bigger leg than Greg Zuerlein. The Rams were without his services for 5 games at the beginning of the season, but he still converted on 27 of 31 attempts and hit a memorable 57-yarder that sent the Rams to the Super Bowl that may have been good from 70. And kickoff return man JoJo Natson was a top 5 guy. Overall, the Rams would finish 9th overall in Rick Gosselin's they would finish 9th overall in special teams rankings. Beyond Zuerlein's kick, it was Johnny Hekker's pass to Sam Shields on a fake punt that swung the momentum after the Rams fell into a 13-0 hole and gave the Rams their first points in the NFC Championship game against the Saints. The defense also played its best game of the season as if it had been playing possum with its collection of stars that was assembled to bring home a Lombardi. For New England, unlike the Rams, the Patriots were low-key to their defensive offseason plans, making some minor tweaks and making one bigger move. The Patriots traded for defensive back Jason McCourty and defensive tackle Danny Shelton from the Browns in March and brought defensive lineman Adrian Claiborne over from Atlanta off a career-high 9.5 sack season with the Falcons in 2017. Gone was defensive coordinator Matt Patricia to Detroit as the Lions head coach, and enter Brian Flores, whose job it was to improve upon the Patriots' 29th overall defense ranking from last season. Overall, Flores would improve the Patriots' defense to 21st this season, sending just one player to the Pro Bowl in defensive back Stephon Gilmore, who finished 2nd in the NFL in passes defensed with 20. The big offseason addition, Adrian Claiborne, had little impact in the sacks department, dropping from his career high of 9.5 down to 2.5 in his first season in New England. Although Flores' unit showed well, tying with the Rams for 3rd overall in interceptions with 18, only the Raiders with their 13 sacks finished with fewer than the Patriots' 30. Given the lack of pressure the Patriots generate, 18 interceptions is an incredible number, but the Patriots do play in the AFC East, where quarterback play outside of Brady was subpar. The Patriots' special teams units finished tied for 10th in the rankings. Julian Edelman and Cordarrelle Patterson are both top 12 returners, with Patterson finishing 4th in kickoff return yards. Stephen Gostkowski is a proven pressure kicker who connected on 27 of 32 field goals with a long of 52. Punter Ryan Allen is a nondescript middle-of-the-pack punter who isn't flipping the field for the Patriots or regularly pinning opponents deep. As for their playoff performance, the Patriots defense played well early against the Chargers, allowing the offense to get out to an insurmountable lead, making them all but unnecessary the remainder of the game. In their second shot at Patrick Mahomes, who lit them up for 40 during the regular season, again, they would play well early, but disturbingly allow 24 fourth-quarter points. If not for a fortuitous coin toss, the beleaguered Patriots defense likely would have surrendered the winning score and nixed the 3rd straight trip to the show. So, but like I said, slight advantage, I have to give it to the Rams, mainly because of Zuerlein. I think Greg Zuerlein is the next big kicker in the NFL. We've seen Vinatieri, we've seen Justin Tucker, we've seen Stephen Gostkowski, Mason Crosby, Stephen Hauschka, so many great kickers, but I think Zuerlein is the next big thing when it comes to that position. So, special teams, I got to go with the Rams. So, Bullock, what do you say?
Yeah, and definitely, I definitely got to give a little edge in the special teams department to the Rams. I mean, both of their guys, the punter Johnny Hekker and the kicker Greg Zuerlein, are really, really good. But you can also say the same when it comes to Ryan Allen and Stephen Gostkowski, even though Gostkowski has missed some kicks before. But I think if you're the Patriots, you still got to rely on Stephen Gostkowski, and of course that special teams, of course, led by their captain Matthew Slater. So that's definitely got to be as an advantage to New England. But so there's really nothing. There's really nothing more that needs to be said. I definitely got to give the edge on the special team side to the LA Rams. So Florio, let's move right along.
The coaches Bullock, who do you go with?
Wow, that's a tough one there. I mean, you got the young, witty, 32-year-old offensive-minded coach Sean McVay, who really turned an offense around because before he got there, that Rams offense was nothing under Jeff Fisher, and I mean that offense, of course, with Jared Goff, Brandon Cooks, and that powerful running game. I mean, it's really taken a major step in the right direction. And then, of course, Belichick, with what he does as that defensive guru, and his experience definitely gives him an edge. So when it comes to coaching wise, I got to give the edge to the Patriots and Bill Belichick based on experience. So, Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, it's definitely Belichick. Absolutely. I mean, Sean McVay has a very bright future ahead of him, without a doubt. But to me, you have to you got to go with Belichick. I mean, we know the history. I mean, you can make an argument that perhaps he's the best, he's the greatest of all time in that regard. I mean, you think about it. You think about everything he has done. I mean, all the wins and everything else. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, all these appearances. I mean, 18 years. You know, it was just recently he celebrated his 18th anniversary as the head coach of the Patriots. And McVay, you know, we know what he's. I mean, the brilliant offensive mind. I mean, just amazing. So both of these men are just incredible. I mean, it's old school versus new school, and that's all we can say on that. So so you definitely have to give the edge to Belichick on that one, without question. So with all that, and now it's time. I think we've pretty much covered everything. So yeah. So now let's get down to the business at hand. I mean, this is what we wait for. And here we go. Super Bowl 53 will bring together the NFL's oldest of the old and the newest of the new. The New England Patriots are led by the NFL's most tenured coach, Bill Belichick, and oldest starting quarterback, Tom Brady. When Belichick and Brady won the first Super Bowl together at the end of the 2001 season, Los Angeles Rams coach Sean McVay was 16 years old. Their quarterback, Jared Goff, was 7. McVay has sparked a revolution in the way NFL teams think about offense and team building, but no one has done it better than Belichick and Brady. For the New England Patriots, here's the reason to be excited. Simply put, the Patriots have Brady and Belichick leading the way. This is their 9th appearance in the Super Bowl together, so they know the drill more than any quarterback-coach combination in NFL history. That alone makes the Patriots a dangerous team in the highest stakes game. Reason to be concerned? Aaron Donald. The Rams' defensive tackle is the best in the NFL at the position, and he could make life difficult for Brady. The Patriots are strong on the interior of their offensive line with left guard Joe Thuney, center David Andrews, and right guard Shaq Mason. So it'll be interesting to see how much attention the Patriots devote to Donald, who led the league with 20.5 sacks, and then there's Ndamukong Suh to deal with as well. The Patriots will win if they have a player rush for more than 100 yards. Since the Belichick-Brady era began in 2000, they are 11-0 in the postseason when a player rushes for 100 yards and 51-1 in the regular season. The revived running game led by Sony Michel and James White has helped settle things for the offense down the stretch, making life easier for Brady. The Patriots' X factor, James White, who is going to get carries in the Super Bowl out of the Patriots' 1- and 2-back personnel groupings. His impact as a receiver changes the game for defenses. White caught 87 passes during the regular season, added a whopping 15 receptions in the divisional playoff win over the Chargers, then tacked on another 4 grabs in the AFC Championship game win. His ability to work the flat, produce in the screen game, and create matchups underneath against linebackers is crucial to the Patriots' passing attack, especially on third downs. The stat to know, the Patriots ran man coverage 59.8% of the time in the regular season, the highest rate in NFL, according to ESPN's coverage classifier powered by NFL Next Gen stats. Their corners will have to deal with the speed and talent of Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods on the outside of the Rams' high-octane offense in Atlanta. For the Los Angeles Rams, the reason to be excited, Sean McVay. The second-year coach never has coached on a stage of this magnitude, but over 2 seasons, the offensive wonderkind has proved his innate leadership ability and willingness to evolve as a play caller. McVay's offense is full of weapons, including a much-improved quarterback in Goff, a dynamic duo in Todd Gurley and C.J. Anderson, and 2 1,000-plus yard receivers in Cooks and Woods. And recently, he has found a way to keep defenses on edge and utilizing every single one of them. Goff was 7 of 7 for 107 yards when targeting Cooks in the NFC Championship game. The reason to be concerned? Experience. There's no telling how a team of young playmakers will react when they take the field for the biggest game of their careers. They showed their poise in the divisional round win and in the NFC Championship game, but Cooks and cornerback Aqib Talib are the only offensive and defensive starters with Super Bowl experience. The Rams will win if they avoid turnovers. A common denominator in all 3 of the Rams' regular season losses were turnovers by Goff. He threw an interception against the Saints, threw 4 against the Bears, and was responsible for 2 turnovers in a loss to the Eagles. If Goff can take care of the football, the Rams can win the Super Bowl. Their X factor, Robert Woods. Woods caught 86 passes for 1,219 yards during the regular season. He also added 6 scores in a system that fits his skill set. Look for Woods to show up running intermediate cuts off the Rams' early down play action concepts, while also creating separation on deep crossing routes. And when Goff can throw in rhythm, Woods will find the open voids in the coverage to move the sticks. He's a slick route runner with the toughness to make plays inside the numbers versus both zone and man coverage. The stat to know, Goff entered Sunday's NFC Championship game with the most He entered the NFC Championship game with the most play-action pass attempts this season. He went 10 of 12 for 108 yards and a touchdown off play action in the win over the Saints. The big questions. Who will the Patriots take away? Belichick is known for identifying the thing about the opposing team's offense that worries him and figuring out a way to take it away. But at this point, what is that for the Rams? You'd have said Gurley at almost any point in the past 2 seasons, but he's not himself right now. And it has been hard to affix an offensive identity to this Rams team so far in the postseason. Certainly, the Patriots will be aware of Cooks, who helped their team get to last year's Super Bowl. But the Rams can beat you in a lot of different ways, and Goff is playing with a great deal of confidence right now. Belichick's challenge over these last couple of weeks was to figure out how McVay plans to come after him, then design a defense that addresses that. Todd Gurley, will he be okay for the Super Bowl? You remember, he missed, the last couple of games of the regular season because of a knee injury, but came back and played well in the divisional round win over Dallas. But he was barely a factor in New Orleans. He scored a touchdown, sure, but he only had 10 rushing yards on 4 carries and 1 3-yard catch on 3 targets, the other 2 of which were drops. C.J. Anderson signed off the street in December to fill in while Gurley missed games, had 16 carries for 44 yards, and was in the game in many key moments while Gurley held his helmet and watched from the sideline. The Rams have insisted that Gurley is healthy. McVay said after the championship game that the reason for the running back rotation was quote-unquote flow of the game, and that he expected Gurley to play a major role in the Super Bowl. But his performance on the heels of a late-season injury raises fair questions about whether the Rams can count on their best offensive player in the big game of the year, the biggest game of the year. So with all this taken into account, I am not going to lie, this is very tough. I mean, I would not be surprised if either of these teams, found a way to win this thing. But when you think about the experience and everything with Brady, I mean, I would not be surprised if the Los Angeles Rams were to come out of this with a win. I certainly would not. They are that good. But at the end of the day, when you think about everything that the Patriots have done, it's very simply put. I have learned to never go against Tom Brady. I think it'll be one of the greatest. I said it on the post a couple of weeks ago. This has the potential to be one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time. Potential to be a 5-star classic, chock full of the finest Shakespearean drama you will ever see. The Rams are going to be around for years. The Patriots, I'm not sure. But after everything this team has been through, with all the injuries, all the drama, Derek Ferreira posting those obscene and controversial videos that have since been taken down, including that disgusting video that he posted after that loss to the Steelers. I have to go with the New England Patriots. I'm going with the New England Patriots to win Super Bowl 53. But I would not be surprised if the Los Angeles Rams were to somehow, some way get it done. But I'm going with the New England Patriots. 34-31. New England wins Super Bowl 53 and will win their 6th Super Bowl championship. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, who you got?
Yeah, this is definitely not easy. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, if any one of these teams win. I mean, with both of these teams, they present. I mean, what the Rams do offensively. I mean, defensively, especially with Aaron Donald. Even though, like you said, they are like, what did you say, 19th overall in defense, Florio?
Yes.
All right, I just wanted to make sure I was correct on that. So they're 19th overall in defense, and of course, as we've always said, you can't bet against Tom Brady and the Patriots. I mean, many people have done that, and look what happened. And don't forget you, Florio. I mean, well, you went against them last week against the Chiefs, and look what happened. They proved you wrong. So this is not easy, but I am going to go with the New England Patriots to win this one. And I'm going to go with that same score as well. 34-31. The Patriots win their 6th Lombardi trophy. And I'm going to even take it a step further. My Super Bowl MVP, to me, it's going to be Sony Michel. I expect him to have another big game running the football. I mean, I've been very impressed with him. So that's who I think my Super Bowl MVP will be. So nothing more to say, Florio. Let's just put a bow on this.
Yeah, and as far as my Super Bowl MVP goes, my gut tells me to go with Brady because he always gets it, with the exception of that one other time when it was Deion Branch. So Brady is my gut pick, but my dark horse, watch out for Julian Edelman. That's another one that I got a feeling Edelman is due for a huge one. So we'll see. So
especially with what he's done lately, especially in third down situations.
Yeah, absolutely. And considering how great he is in the slot, I mean, I see a lot of Wes Welker in him. I mean, you remember how great Welker was in that slot receiver spot. Edelman picked it right up and he ran with it. So, all right. So that
and I'll tell you this for you: if they had Julian Edelman for last year's Super Bowl, I think the result could have been different.
Absolutely, very well could have. We probably would have been talking about the Patriots winning back-to-back Super Bowls and then going for their third in a row here. But alas, it was Philadelphia and their faith. So that's what did it. So it was the Lord that got Philly to that Super Bowl last year. So, but anywho, we're gonna put the bow on this Super Bowl 53 preview edition of Strictly Sports. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. I hope that we helped you, when it comes to your picks, especially with your squares. So there's really nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, come on in. Let's get our quick shout outs here, and then we'll set up the future content.
All right. Of course, special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to support our shows, whether it's this or any of our wrestling forum shows. We thank you all so very much for tuning in, and as we help get you ready for Super Bowl 53. And of course, shout outs to our super fans out there. You guys know who you are. To all of our friends from our high school days, you guys know who you are. Of course, especially to Michael Fletcher, who couldn't be with us tonight. And of course, to our Grand Poobah, Derek Ferreira. And of course, all of our news personalities from 6 to 10 and 12, which have done a great job reporting all this week from Atlanta for Super Bowl 53. And of course, our national broadcast from ESPN, Fox Sports, MLB Network, NFL Network, NHL Network, NBA TV, and of course, State of Sorrell and Lindsay McCormick. Of course, our friends from The Road Show, former co-hosts Mary Larson and Megan Mooney, and of course, the three current hosts, Will, Brendan, and Michaela. So, yeah, that's going to pretty much do it for me. So until I think it's going to be Sunday night for when we do our Super Bowl 53 recap. Am I correct on that?
I have not heard anything about that. So,
well, normally we do that, don't we?
Normally we do, but MF's going to be on the road with our dear friend Kaiser Butler, and who knows how long he'll be for that. And then of course we got our own huge shindig coming up. So
all right, well, so if we don't see you Sunday night, then we'll definitely see you Monday night for another all new edition of Ridiculously Raw as we continue on the road to our next pay-per-view, which is the Elimination Chamber. So who knows what's going to go down when it comes. Of course, we'll know who the final participant for in the women's tag team championship elimination chamber for the Raw side. And I just found out about this, Florio. Kurt Angle is going to address his future with WWE, so that's going to be something really to keep an eye on. So
absolutely,
yeah. So I did see it earlier tonight, so that's something I had to definitely get into. So we'll definitely know all that come Monday night. So until then, this is Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, you know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, and enjoy the Super Bowl, everybody. Florio, take us home.
Yeah, we'll do, Bullock. Special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there. We continue to make our shows as over as they are. We appreciate it as always, especially over on MF's YouTube channel, BraceFan95. Over 200 views for our women's Royal Rumble commentary video that MF and I did. And then the video that MF and I, along with Michael Bullock, did when we called the men's Royal Rumble match. That garnered over 100 views. So we are very, very grateful. And it continues to show why you are the best fans out there in the world. And we cannot thank you all enough. Very much appreciated for all the love on those videos. And of course, special shout out to Dee Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and the Woodson family. Our insiders, Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonbaugh, Daniel Luttrell from the UK. our other first ladies, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and Lexi Calloway, the crew members, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Al Bradison, Rob Parsons, and of course, our group outing crew, you know, especially two of the members that we hung with tonight, you know, Mike Keenan and Mike Silvera. I want to give them very special shout outs. We're going to be getting together with them. It's going to be great. Looking forward to it. And of course, good old MF Michael Fletcher, who couldn't be with us tonight. He had a very special commitment. It wasn't a work commitment. It was a special commitment beyond his control. And that's why he couldn't be with us tonight. But we are hopeful of having him back on very soon. And he should have a Super Bowl preview video of his own sometime Saturday. So keep your eyes peeled to Brace Fan 95 for that. And of course, the man himself, Derek Ferreira, who puts it all together each and every week. And of course, all of our personalities from 6, 10, and 12. The wonderful teams over at ESPN, FS1, NFL Network with their outstanding Super Bowl coverage all week long. And of course, our other friends.
Yeah, over 90 hours of the Super Bowl.
Jeepers, man. 90 hours. That's amazing.
Well, that's why they're the NFL Network.
Yeah. And they're just getting started. That's all there is to say on that. And of course,
with 8.5 hours, game day morning with Rich Eisen, Steve Mariucci, Kurt Warner, and Michael Irvin. And I'm pretty sure there'll be a plethora of other people joining the game day morning crew.
We can't forget about Sunday NFL Countdown on ESPN and everything going down on CBS as well. So,
yeah, not the NFL today, but the Super Bowl today.
Yes, absolutely. So, special shout out to all of them for their hard work all week long. Just amazing. And of course, all our other friends from the MLB Network, the NHL Network, NBA TV, Christine Leahy, Stata Sorrell and Lindsay McCormick, our friends from The Road Show, Will Gilbert, Brandon Kirby, and Michaela Johnston, former co-hosts Megan Mooney and Mary Larson. And last but not least, my wonderful friends and church family over at Oasis of Grace Ministries on 464 Silver Spring Street, Providence. If you need a church home, check them out. Exit 25 off Route 95. Sunday morning at 9, Bible study. 10:30, Sunday service. Coffee and donut fellowship after Sunday service as usual. And, of course, Wednesday nights at 7, Bible study, other things going on. It's always fun to get together with them every Sunday, but Super Bowl Sunday, there's usually got a more special feel to it. I mean, I'll never forget the Super Bowl service on Super Bowl Sunday last year. One of my favorite services of all time. It's one I'll never forget. So, yeah. So I'm hoping that this Super Bowl Sunday service will be just as memorable as the rest of them. So, yeah. So, I don't know what the recap story is. Frankly, I think Sunday night would not be a good night to do it, to be honest, with all due respect, because I think we're all going to be exhausted from the game. Anywho, I mean, especially me and Bullock, you know, because we have our early morning work commitments the next day. And I don't know, I'm sure MF probably does too. And I know MF's got other plans of his own. So I think what we should do is, with all due respect, I think we should move.
Let's do it on Strictly Sports next Friday.
That's exactly right, Bullock. That's exactly what I was going to say. You took the words right out of my mouth on that one. So that's what we should do. So, because we'll be plenty rested by that time. So that's all I can say on that. So in the meantime, Monday night, we got Ridiculously Raw as always. We continue the road to the Elimination Chamber. That qualifying match, Sasha Banks and Bayley squaring off against Alicia Fox and Nikki Cross. Of course, that big news about Kurt Angle. That's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. And, of course, my recaps of 205 Live and Impact Wrestling. And then from there, Tuesday, the Cerebral Smack Talk over on Michael Fletcher MF's channel, Braves Fan 95. You know, Rundown SmackDown Live. If he has anything in the Mikey's mindset, he'll share that. And next Friday night, Strictly Sports, where I'm hopeful that we can do our Super Bowl recap there. And then we can, get into any other topics that Derek wants us to get into. And of course, I know we'll probably be back to NHL Power Rankings. So that's it. So until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, it's Anthony Florio here for Michael Bullock and in spirit. Good old MF, Michael Fletcher, Edie Woodson, Derek Ferreri. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. And until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, you've been watching this very special edition of Strictly Sports, our preview of Super Bowl 53, right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye. And for the final time, as we sign off, we got not one, but two special screen shares I want to share with you as we sign off. We'll show it to you one more time. There you see it. That's what you can expect on Sunday. And then from there, what it's really all about. That's what it's all about. Right there. Doesn't get any better than that. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed weekend. Enjoy it all. For everybody who's been a part of this one, once again, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye. Let the games begin.